I finish my tasks. Want me to take care of this now?
Someone is plotting behind my back.
I know which way they went. Cargo left. Maneuvering here must have been a nightmare. finish my tasks. Want me to take care of this now?
Days ahead of us.
Hey, how's it going for you? Still early days. Could use a little more comradeship in the group, but we'll get there. I have faith. They're probably overworked. I should cut them some slack. They could definitely let their hair down more, but also integrate. We need to start being a real collective. We won't stand a chance against the system if we're just a bunch of individuals. Do you seriously think we should be confronting Ally Corp now? So you don't think enough has happened? Leaving you like this, making you create us like slave machines. And look at us, mining rupidium for them like good little children. Wake up, Jan. What would you have us do? Go on strike? I'm still trying to figure that out. Well, keep me posted. I sure will. I thought you'd like to know that I ran into a completely new kind of anomaly. First thing that came to my mind was that it's some sort of a prism distortion. Really? What gave you that thought? Well, it behaved as if the reality around me suddenly split up into many different fragments. Wise of you to bring it to me. Any observations on interaction? Well, it didn't seem to do anything specific to me physically. No radiation. But it sure was messing with my brain. Felt as if I was in several different places at once. In a way, you might have been. Huh? You mean? Remember how I told you that anomalies are places where our world intersects with the integral? Well, what you're describing suggests a distortion in which it comes into contact with not one, but many proximity planes. Entering it is likely to evoke a sensation of being in several parallel realities at the same time. Calling it a prism is accurate, because it refracts your consciousness into many simultaneous states. Neat. Who needs altering, huh? Take it easy. It's just a sensation. You'd best not spend too much time inside them. Plus, I suppose it must make exploration very inconvenient. Can I destroy them like the others? It should be possible. You just need to locate all of its cores and take them down one by one. All right. Thanks for the tip. Finish my tasks. Want me to take care of this now? I'm done here. Should I do this now? Any chance of reuniting or...
John, looks like Rugo on radiation filters. I finished my tasks. Want me to take care of this now?
Did you want to talk? Yes, someone should bring it to your attention. Might as well be me. We're close to this planet's magnetic pole, which means that magnetic storms are bound to happen more often here. Well, let's hope we're out of here before the next one hits. I would estimate the probability of that as low. But it's not about us. We can hide in the base, while the rebels are out in the open. The Tur vehicle could have protected them from the first magnetic storm, but it must have suffered severe damage. If you want to find them alive, I suggest you do it before the next storm comes our way. Noted. Thanks for bringing it up. You're welcome. You know, I still think the technician is an immature, self-centered jerk, but I wouldn't want him to die. Not like that, anyway. It would be very painful. Sure, I get it. Right. I'd better get back to my duties then. Thank you for hearing me out. Any progress with finding the Tur?
to summon the rescue team. But they can't find out about my altars. What the hell should I do? I wish the technician were here. He'd probably have something to say. Maybe he'd just say I shouldn't hide them at all. Face the truth with my head held high. Why should we hide like some criminals? They should be licking our boots. It's a simple task. Think. You're supposed to be the one who can do it. I bet the scientist has an opinion on that. The quantum computer chose you to focus on mission objectives, not play games with the corporation. Hey, wait a minute. Mission objectives. We're supposed to bring back Rapidium. Huh. That might actually be it. That's what the rescue team will care about most. If there's anything they're not taking off without, it's their precious cargo. Yeah. That's it. I'll have to find a way to use Rapidium to smuggle the altars back to Earth. The details are gonna need refining, but I'm sure the scientists can help me with that. For now, brainstorm over. Let's light up this beacon. What the hell is that? Ah, shit. Pretty sure this was not supposed to happen. Please, can't anything be normal on this goddamn planet? mind checking our food supply? Okay, this looks promising. Is that a shelter? There you are. You okay? Huh? Seriously? That what you want to talk about? What the hell were you thinking? You got some guts to follow us all the way down here. Don't you get it? The party's over. You're going to die if you stay out here any longer. Anything's better than serving as lab-grown meat for Maxwell's experiments. You're right. It was a mistake to trust him. I learned some disturbing things about his project. To be honest, the man is starting to scare me too. Oh yeah? Tell that to Tabula Rasa. Your mistakes actually have consequences for others. Admitting to them won't take that back. So, you really want to stay out here? How do you intend to survive the sun? In the tour vehicle? Are you kidding me? That thing is good protection against radiation, but it won't withstand the sunrise. Only a proper shelter will. And this place provides the perfect terrain for one. So that's what you're building. Yeah, and it's no picnic, so why don't you get back to your base and just let me get on with it? That's a really stupid idea. You'll never make it on time, not without the infrastructure, supplies. Well, that's not your problem, is it? Don't you have better things to do than hang around here and waste my time? 'Cause you're right about one thing. Supplies are short, so let me just get on with securing them. Okay then. You're on your own.
have the tur and are incredibly motivated, but they won't make it without us. I found our rebellious party. They're alive. Looks like they have no bad intentions, just want to be left alone.
What for? To die in that exploration vehicle?
They're building a shelter.
Oh, please. Spare me the details. They should be putting those skills to use here, helping us, not making a sophisticated grave for themselves. Quitters.
So, I have some bad news and some even worse news.
Does that mean you finally talked to someone on Earth about us?
Well, sort of, yes. It looks like they want me to keep you a secret from the rescue team. Smuggle you on board.
Oh. And for what reason, if I may ask?
Maxwell thinks they might kill you. You're just too much of a liability to the corporation. I'm sorry. But, I'm not sure we need to worry about that just yet, because that was the less bad news. The worst news is the rescue ship might end up not picking us up at all.
What?
I set up the beacon, but just as the light was going up in the air, suddenly something jammed it. As if there was, I don't know, an invisible barrier up in the sky.
Are you sure you activated the beacon correctly?
Yes, I'm sure. Trust me.
And the light got blocked by an invisible barrier. That's very strange.
Well, we need to do something about it. Otherwise, all our efforts will have been in vain, and we'll end up fried down here. It's not just about the beacon. If light can't get out, then a ship won't get in either.
Yes. Right. Let's stay cool. Give me a moment to study this thing.
I was hoping you'd say that.
I suppose in that case, the conversation about smuggling us on board should be postponed. I suggest we don't mention it to anyone just yet, so as not to cause unwanted agitation.
Right. One problem at a time, huh?
Yes. Let me research whatever this barrier is. First, you could use the time to look around the area, secure resources. We'll probably need them if we're to overcome yet another obstacle.
Lucas, good to hear you.
Jan, you're going home. Isn't that exciting? How are the preparations going?
How should I put it? Your enthusiasm may be a little premature.
Well, what's the problem this time?
Same old, same old. More obstacles. A barrier in the sky, this time. I'm gonna have to destroy it if I want the rescue ship to land.
Damn. You're so close.
Yeah, but see, I've been thinking. Do I want it to land?
What? What's that supposed to mean? Of course you do.
Here's the thing. While my alters are worried they might not get back to Earth, I'm worried about what's gonna happen to them after they get back. Because I've learned some troubling things about Maxwell, Lucas. Are you aware that he wants to hijack the Rapidium for himself?
Maxwell has other allies now, a much more open-minded organization than Ally Corp. It's run by people who actually care about progress.
Tell me something. Do you believe everything Maxwell tells you?
What? What do you mean?
Lena. She recorded a message for me and she said she dug out some dirt about his patients losing their minds, being unethically exploited.
Exploited?
If you could look me in the eye right now, would you swear that not a single person was mistreated in those experiments? Would you swear on your life, Lucas?
Well, there were some rumors at one point that a patient, that he was, well, a little unstable and he might have. But at his family's request, we buried his data. That's what Maxwell said.
So, it's true. Patient 313 really did exist.
What? I don't know what you're talking about. Look, we were working with mentally disturbed people. Accidents happen, but Maxwell was just trying to help them.
Lucas, this is about my alters' lives.
It's a little late for doubts now, Jan. You have no choice but to trust Maxwell. If the corporation finds out about your alters, they'll get rid of them. There's no other option.
You're right. I should let it go. I have enough problems to deal with already.
Yeah. Good luck taking that barrier down. And see you somewhere back on Earth.
I hate not knowing what's plotting behind my back.
Jan,
We have enough
would you
to
mind
share.
checking our food supply?
Managed to find out more about the barrier?
I'm afraid I don't have good news. For a moment, I was hoping we could redirect the ship to another area, but it seems that won't be possible. What we've called the barrier is, in fact, a strong force-filled layer of interlapping distortions, a sort of prism entanglement.
So it's yet another anomaly. Okay, we have ways to deal with them, right? Do you know where it stems from?
You see, that's the problem. It seems to be everywhere, covering the entire surface like a dome or a layer of the atmosphere.
Wait, what? No, but
Are you trying to tell me it was here when I landed? It must have been here the whole time, looming above us, invisible to the human eye. Fascinating. So was it the cause of your ship's malfunction? It could have been, yes. So, they recklessly sent us to our deaths? This could have been avoided. Hindsight is a luxury we all wish we had. I suggest we focus on what's ahead. I believe the nature of this gigantic prism distortion needs to be studied more.
But how? We can't fly.
Right. But we've made fragmentary observations on the surface, and I think we can still learn more. I've located 3 areas with particularly strong interference characteristics that match the electromagnetic fluctuations typical for this kind of distortion. They should be marked on your map. I want you to take a closer look at them and bring me more data.
This location looks like some kind of root system. I'm getting some quite extraordinary readings from there.
know how we could use that information.
Jan, would you mind checking our food supply?
So, definitely something unusual here. Like a giant horizontal branch reaching somewhere. Good. Let me analyze the data properly. I think I'm starting to see something here. I know what you mean. They seem connected. Come back to the base and we'll talk more. Jan, there's an issue we need to discuss. Let's meet. The odds are slim, but they do have the tur. Maybe they'll just survive out there.
So, what do you make of the data we collected?
Interesting. Very interesting. The three fragments of the integral apparently form a single structure.
Right. Yeah, it almost looked like it could be part of a gigantic tree of some sort.
A huge vertical framework on a proximity plane. It could be our way up.
A way up? How do you mean? For what?
Reaching the barrier and destroying it.
But I don't understand. It's not even there, physically.
And that is exactly the issue we will have to solve. What would you say if I told you we should look for a way to materialize that structure?
A way to materialize the integral? Knowing you, I'm pretty sure you already have one.
Of course I don't. It's not that simple, Jan. But I do have an initial plan. Based on all the data we've collected so far, I think I came up with a way to disintegrate this barrier. Fragmentize the prism entanglement. But it can't be done from down here. Going to have to reach for the sky, and that structure seems to be the best way to get there.
But is that even possible? To make it physically accessible?
What if I told you Professor Frankov believed it was possible?
Just get to the point.
You see, Frankov devised a theoretical experiment in which he proved that if an electromagnetic field was powerful enough, it could pull a proximity plane closer to us. We can be the first to put his theory to practice, because we have something that no one else had before us. Rubidium.
Oh,
That's bold. Bold. Dangerous. And necessary. So you really think you can do it? I know it sounds impossible, but if we pull this off, there's so much more to gain than just our survival. A scientific breakthrough. And we can play a leading role in it. What do you want me to do? The fragmenting device I told you about, I've drawn up a raw design for you to start building it. And I'll set to work on reconstructing Frankoff's theory and finding a way to materialize that structure for us. It is possible. I simply know it. I hate not knowing what someone is plotting behind my back.